Hola, welcome. Welcome to the Haase cooking show going into week 2 of round 3. We've got a good one for you. You can see it's just one Haase out of the Haase squad, unfortunately, but I got a good one for you regardless. We're doing a low carb garlicky shrimp broccoli, and it's gonna be fantastic. So, things you need for this recipe: you need olive oil. You can use 1 or 2 pans. I'm going to use 2 pans to kind of condense our cooking process down. You could use 1. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. You don't need to use 2, but you don't need to use 1 either. Olive oil, 6 cloves of garlic, all minced up. You're going to need 4 cups of broccoli. Again, with the broccoli and the shrimp, thaw it out first. Thaw it out first. If you're using frozen stuff, thaw it out first. And again, if you're using frozen vegetables, just make sure there's no added sugars or anything like that inside of there. So 4 cups of broccoli. You need, it calls for a half cup of red bell pepper, but go ahead, just use 1 red bell pepper. Again, the red is just, there's different consistencies, sweetness, stuff like that in there. If you want to use a different kind of pepper, feel free to use a different kind, but the red just has a little bit different sweetness to it that'll make this dish pop a little bit more. You're gonna need a little bit of sea salt that goes there, again, just for just a little bit of flavor. You need a pound of shrimp, so a pound of shrimp. It calls for a little bit bigger shrimp, but when I cook, I like to use a little bit smaller. I got kids, right? So it's a little bit easier on me to use a little bit smaller shrimp. Easier for them to eat, easier for everybody to eat, right? And then you're gonna need some lemon juice, not lime. You need lemon juice today. The tanginess that'll go with that shrimp. So what we gotta do is we gotta get our first pan going. I actually have my first pan going, so you're gonna need about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil inside your pan. We're gonna put half our garlic in there right away, and then we're just gonna let it cook about a minute. We're gonna let it cook about a minute, and then we're gonna add in the rest of what we're doing. So about half of your garlic goes in there right away. And again, this is gonna be garlicky today. Fair warning, so you can use a little bit less garlic if you want. But the garlic's gonna bring a lot of different flavor out here. And we're just gonna let the garlic kind of brown up just a little bit. And I'm actually gonna get my second pan going right away. I'm gonna use about 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in there. I'm gonna get that warming up a little bit. Once it gets a little bit warmer, I'm gonna put the rest of my garlic in there for the second part of it. So let me just get that in there. Get this turned on this time, that we don't forget about it, right? By the way, I'm notorious for doing that. I'll put oil in there and then I'll completely forget to turn the burner on. So don't forget to turn the burner on, otherwise the oil doesn't get hot and it's gonna slow down your process. So a little bit longer on that first pan. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our broccoli, our pepper, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt is gonna go in there right away. And that pan is only gonna end up cooking about probably 3 to 5 minutes before we take it off the heat. So we'll end up taking it right off the heat. So let me just check my my garlic, see how we're doing over here. Oh yeah. That's good. The aromas start coming out of there like crazy once you do that. So broccoli goes in next. Again, it's about 4 cups of broccoli that you have inside of there. And your pepper goes in. Again, you can use a half a pepper. I'm using a full pepper inside of here. And then we're gonna put a little bit of salt in it. So we're gonna put about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in here right away too. And that's just gonna be a little bit saltiness that goes in there. A little bit of flavor, right? All right, so I'm gonna get that going. In something like this, so we want this to cook all the way through. So a good idea is to go and cover this bad boy. Go and cover that bad boy, and it's gonna get that heat going all the way through the broccoli, the pepper, all that stuff, so it'll cook a little bit different. And then we're gonna get our other pan going right away. Might as well, right? So the rest of your garlic's gonna go in here. Your oil should be good to go. What you got in here? We're gonna get the rest of our garlic going inside of there. So again, that first pan's gonna cook for about 3 to 5 minutes. This recipe does not take long to make, which is really cool. And it's good for you. It's high in protein. You got good fats in there and extremely low in carbs. So you're talking about a serving of this is gonna be less than 6 carbs that you have inside of here. So this is gonna be good. So our second pan, once that garlic gets going inside of there, we're gonna add in our shrimp. We're gonna add in about another quarter tablespoon or a quarter teaspoon of salt. We're gonna let that cook for about 3 to 5 minutes also. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine, because we're gonna take our first pan off the heat after a couple more minutes. We're gonna take our first pan off the heat and we're gonna put it to the side, because all we're trying to do is cook this stuff through. Not like this stuff has to go hard or anything. We're just trying to cook this stuff through, and the flavors are really gonna come out inside of here. That first pan though, once we get that done, once that stuff's done, we're gonna pull it right off the heat. We'll cook our second pan of stuff up, and then we'll combine everything. We'll let it simmer on there a little bit, and then you're good to go. And that's part of the reason why I say if you're using frozen shrimp or you're using frozen, thaw the stuff out first, and it's really easy to do. So with your shrimp, if it's frozen, get some hot water, put it in a bowl, dump your shrimp in there. Just let it thaw out, and use pre-cooked shrimp. So your color is gonna be like that. Don't get the raw shrimp, because the raw shrimp you'd have to cook first and then use it. And then your broccoli, get a strainer like this, in a bowl like this, set the strainer in the bowl, put the broccoli in there, put some hot water in there, and it'll thaw this stuff out, and then you can just pull your strainer out, and then your broccoli is ready to go. Just drain the water out of it, and your broccoli is good to go. Let me check this first pan here. And you're gonna notice when you take the top off this thing, the different aromas that come out of here. Move the garlic around this pan here. And I'm gonna cover this one too to make sure our shrimp get cooked in the same way. So let's get our shrimp in there. So again, it's 1 pound. I use a little bit smaller shrimp. You can use as big a shrimp as you want inside here, but it's just 1 pound. I find also when you use smaller, it makes you feel like you're eating more, because you get more shrimp on your plate at the same time. Kind of helps you mentally get over some of the herbs, right? And then a little bit of salt in here. We're done with our salt. Let's move this around a little bit. Get this covered here. So when we start combining these things, one thing that you should remember inside of here, because as you cook this through, right, it's going to cook a lot of the moisture and stuff out of here. If you combine your pans, and once we get into the second portion of the cooking, if you combine your pans and there's not enough moisture in there, add an extra tablespoon of water or something like that in there, just so you have a little bit of moisture inside there. Again, we're gonna have some lemon juice that goes in here yet, but feel free to add a little bit extra water in there if you need it, just for the extra moisture, extra consistency that's inside of here. Again, normally you wouldn't need to do that because you're using vegetables, and vegetables have moisture content to them, obviously. Yeah, trying to look good, and you're gonna start seeing your broccoli will change colors a little bit. And the one thing, so if you're cooking meats and stuff like that, when you cover it, just, you know, it's keeping all the moisture and all that stuff inside your pan too. So if you see that there's extra moisture, whenever you're cooking with meat and there's extra moisture inside that pan, always feel free to drain it. When you take it off the heat, always feel free to drain that extra moisture out of there. Again, just take a strainer, take a colander, and drain that extra moisture off there. It's not gonna hurt anything. And all we're trying to do is cook this stuff through at this point. And your shrimp will cook pretty quick over here. Alright, so I'm going to take my shrimp. I'm going to remove my cover. I'm going to drain these out a little bit. I'm going to put them back in here. Big thing, if you're gonna drain these, just try not to drain all your garlic out of there. Because you should have that all minced up. And we need that garlic. You'll start smelling your shrimp when they're getting done too. First stuff is just about ready to rock and roll. I'm going to take that off the heat for now. We'll let our shrimp cook a little bit more. We'll combine the two together, get a lemon juice in there, cook it for a little bit longer, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll and eat already. Again, this dish doesn't take long to make, and it's good for you. So if you're a shrimp and broccoli fan, you're going to love it. If you don't know if you are, I promise you're still going to love it. We're getting there. We're about ready to combine this stuff. I'm going to put this stuff back in the heat here. Guess it's the wrong shape of top holder these. Just toss it in there for now. Get these two combined. Get that burner off, keep the other one on. About 2 teaspoons of lemon inside of here now. I'm going to put a little bit of water in mine also. Do a little bit more movement. Alright, let's combine all this stuff together. Get the cover back on. We're going to give it a couple minutes here. Let me clean up a little bit while we're doing this, and we're going to be done. That's how quick, that's how easy this can be. stirs here. Yeah, we're good, yeah. All right, a couple things. When you're preparing food, I had this conversation with somebody the other day. You don't have to be a chef to cook well. You just have to follow simple, basic instructions. Now, some of the things that people run into when it comes to preparing food, right? They burn stuff in their pan or this. Cook at lower heat as much as you can. Cook at lower heat. And then with your pans, take care of your pans. Get decent pans. They don't cost much. Like, I honestly get the majority of my pans from a TJ Maxx or a Ross or someplace like that, and I buy them individually. But take care of your pans. Hand wash your pans. The more you stick your pans in your dishwasher, the worse they're gonna be. And that's where you start burning things. Hand wash your pans. Use dish soap. I know it takes time, but you know, back when I was a kid, guess what we didn't have? We didn't have dishwashers. So we hand wash. Hand wash your pans. Everything's gonna cook better when you do that, and cook at lower heats. Alright, this stuff's ready to rock and roll. This stuff is ready to rock and roll. So, you can see what it looks like. I use both. So it's always great having the girls, because taste testers. Well, you just gotta take my word for it. Alright, turn this burner out. This is what you're making. It smells ridiculous in a good way. Whew. It's still hot. All right. That's good. That's good. Broccoli, pepper, shrimp, garlicky, not over the top garlicky. You got the zest of the lemon in there. And it's low carb, high protein, medium to low fat. This is a bomb recipe. So this week, try this out. And you can see I've got plenty of extras throughout the week. And this stuff is going to be great because I tossed it in the microwave. And it ain't gonna take long, and it's gonna be ready to rock and roll. You could probably even eat it cold. Don't matter. But garlicky, shrimp, broccoli, make it this week. Give it a try. I'm telling you right now, it's outstanding. Aside of that, have a banger Sunday.